Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Rogues episode 14. Today, we're going to talk about Bill and Ted Face the Music. As always, I am joined by Andrew.
Hi. That's me.
Hi.
Do you want me to say more? I could talk a little bit if you want.
No, it's fine. Usually you say something more than hi.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
I didn't really think about it. I was going to ask, do Bill and Ted actually face the music? And
Yeah, they kind of do.
I mean, they're looking at music a lot, so
Yeah,
they're facing music.
They sort of accept their role in the grand scheme of saving the universe.
We'll
which
get
was
into
different than what they maybe have expected.
Oh, well, you just ruined the whole movie. Show's over, guys.
Yep.
It's all
Bye.
ruined.
2-minute show. Goodbye.
Shortest one yet.
Next show.
Next song.
But if you want to hear more Andrew, check out Board Game Barbarians. He's hard at work at making more episodes of that monthly.
Nothing came out this month, but I've been having some stuff that I had to deal with. So,
yeah, it's been a month for a lot of people.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I feel like a lot of people's sort of momentum has been slowing down lately. I've seen it with coworkers and stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's just like a lot of people just, you know what? People need extra time right now.
Yep. Taking siestas.
Yeah. Right. And I've seen it in my own work. Check out Sidetail Studios. I've still got videos coming out in daily. I just did the Avengers for 7 episodes and said, no, this game's not for me. So I've moved on to doing Luigi's Mansion 3 again.
Nice.
Yeah. And almost broke my year-long streak of daily videos. Like, it was at a point yesterday where I was recording a video and coding it and posting it that day.
Jeez.
Instead of posting it at midnight the night before.
Yeah. Man.
So it's an arbitrary thing I set for myself, but it's also one of those areas where I'm like, I haven't started on editing our last episode of Cinema Rogues. Like, it's just,
how dare you?
That everybody's kind of slowing down.
Yeah.
But who's not slowing down? Retro Warriors.
Yeah, they keep strong. Keeping
Oh
strong.
man, that's gonna get cut down.
No, just leave it.
No, Retro Warriors are going nice and strong. New weekly episodes. Go check them out if you haven't heard them somehow. And you're getting this. That's impressive. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into our weeks real quick. Well, I guess it's been 3 weeks since we recorded, so really,
it's been a while, and I watched a lot, and I don't remember hardly any of it.
Oh, good. I watched very little and remember all of it.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks.
So
for showing
together
me up.
we
Nice.
kind of no, not showing you up at all because you did more movie watching.
True. I did do more movie watching.
So I don't know. So we both ended up with basically a movie and a series on our list, more or less.
Yeah. Well,
So.
we both ended up with Lovecraft Country.
Yeah. I still need to watch this week's episode. So I've seen the first 3.
Then you're
it's
2
really
behind.
good.
I believe there are 5 out.
Are there 5 out?
Yep.
I
I thought of it.
think the last one I saw was where they had the house party.
Yeah, that was episode 3. You got 2 more.
Oh, okay. Ah,
Or 3?
shit.
2 more episodes.
Well, then I'm going to do that tomorrow. Oh, wait. No. Damn it. We're recording Retro Warriors tomorrow. I'll do that on Saturday.
Fool.
But other than that, I only got into 2 movies. I'm thinking of ending things. And I didn't even start watching that movie. Kristen started it, and I walked in towards like 10 minutes into it and then just got sucked into it. It's pretty good. It's the new Charlie Kaufman movie. Yeah, Charlie Kaufman. That's right. It's not Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, I was looking at it, and it looked interesting. What's it on? Is it on Netflix? I think it's on Netflix.
I think it's Netflix. I think that's right.
I also think that's right, so we're going to go with it.
We're going to go with it. It's on Netflix. And if it's not on Netflix, I'm sort of sorry.
Correct
You
us
should
if
verify
we're wrong.
information. Yeah, there you go.
Do your own research, listener. I'll look
Don't listen to a podcast. Wait, no, please listen.
I'm thinking of anything is a Netflix original movie.
Yeah. Unpregnant. Is,
You're pregnant?
I believe no, not I'm Pregnant.
Oh.
The movie Unpregnant.
Okay.
About a lady who gets pregnant in Missouri, where the law is you need to have parental consent if you're under 18 to get an abortion.
Okay.
And so she and a friend of hers travel to Arizona, where the closest state where the rules are more lax and she can get it done.
Right.
But it's a good movie. It's funny. It's cute. It's serious at times, like you would expect.
Yeah.
But I would recommend watching it. It's definitely enjoyable. And then other than that, I've been watching a lot of hockey.
I know. You've been talking about it a lot.
I've been talking about it like on every show that I'm on. In the Discord constantly. It's an obsession at this point because it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. And so for the past 6 weeks or so, there has been a Dallas Stars hockey game every other day that is important to watch if you care about watching, what happens in the season or whatever.
How upset are you that you can't go to the game?
I am so mad. And I have the opportunity, like I was a season ticket holder this season, so they sent out emails and they're like, hey, we're doing like limited capacity watching parties at the American Airlines Center, a socially distanced, like seat 6 feet away from other parties or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want any free tickets? I'm like, no. No, I'm a responsible person. No.
Yeah.
So
you could have gone to like 5
but
minutes. Get the tickets, go for 5 minutes, leave. You're fine.
Yeah, I have to listen to it on the way home.
Yep.
No. But yeah, it is frustrating, but at the same time, it makes for a neat environment that they do have going on, and hopefully this isn't the last time it happens. Although it's been 20 stupid years since they've gotten this far, so.
Well, hopefully they make it all the way and get Stanley's Cup.
They're in the finals. They're the other teams are playing tonight in Game 6. One team is up 3-2. So if that team wins, we'll know who it is. If not, there will be a Game 7 in that series. And then, yay Stars.
Did the Mighty Ducks make it?
They did not. The Ducks did not even make the playoffs, I believe, this year.
The only hockey team I know, besides like all the famous Canadian ones.
Right. What have you been up to besides Lovecraft Country?
I watched Raised by Wolves, which is the other new HBO show that is done by Ridley Scott, created by Ridley Scott. I think it's directed by his brother. It's good. It's done really well. It's interesting so far. I like the characters. I like the story. I think it's kind of I wasn't really bored in any of it. I'm not really selling it. It is a good show if you like sci-fi things.
I saw today it was renewed for season 2. Oh,
nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it's going to end because it's still airing. Those are still coming out. I watched The Dirt Bike Kid, which is a 1980s movie with the kid that's from The Christmas Story, Ralphie.
Yeah.
That's a terrible, garbage, wonderful movie. God, what a terrible, great movie to watch. It's just real bad. Doesn't make any sense. And then my wife and I started and ended, stopped watching it, a show on Netflix called Haunted, because I was craving a supernaturally, real, quote unquote, show about ghost stories. And it's just not. We got to the second episode. The first episode is this guy that's talking about being haunted and how the ghost follows him. And then after doing research online, he's a horror story writer, and appears to be a fake plant on the show, not a real ghost story that he has. And the second story is about these sisters that grew up with their parents who were literally, as they described them, serial killers. and would lure people to their house and murder people in their house. And they called it the slaughterhouse. And like Emily and I are sitting there and we're like, yeah, if this was real, there would have been some investigation at some point, especially since the show came out like 3 years ago. So I'm like looking online for it, and there's no information. And it's like police opened an investigation and shortly closed it. Yeah, I don't think any of it's real.
Huh.
None of it's real. And the lady like wrote a book too about it, so she's really adamant that it happened, but none of them can tell or mention where the house is. Like no one tells anyone where the house is. And they can't remember where it's located.
It does sound fishy.
And apparently their like great grandson or their son, like the grandson of the parents, lived in the house after they passed for a while. So how he can't remember where the house is. And yeah, it sounds like a bunch of BS. Anyway, that's what I've been doing.
All right. Well, let's get into some news then. You know, I sat down to write the news today because I forgot to do the thing where I just fill in news as the weeks go on. But
yeah.
So I sat down. I was like, oh, no, there hasn't really been much news. And then I wrote like 7 things, so I deleted that one.
You wrote quite a lot of news.
The Batman paused filming for 2 weeks due to COVID. It has restarted filming, reported today. So
yep, saw that.
Good. I get, glad that they're taking precautions. Glad that it was a small enough outbreak that they could resume in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Tenet has been released to theaters. Speaking of COVID things, it hasn't gone great for anybody, really.
Yep.
The movie apparently has done in $30 million domestically, and that's a $200 million budget. That's not the numbers they were looking for. Apparently, releasing a new movie in theaters right now isn't a great idea. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, I had a bad feeling about Tenet in the sense that I'm like, I like all of Christopher Nolan's movies except for like his first one, and I'm kind of afraid. I probably mentioned on the show, I'm kind of afraid Tenet's gonna be like his first, not a super amazing movie like his other ones.
Yeah.
And I have a friend that went and saw it at a drive-in theater. He said it was a pretty good movie, but wasn't super great like, his others.
Well, at some point we'll get to see it and we can make our own conclusions, I suppose.
Maybe we'll get to see it. They're just going to take it off they're going to make it like super underground.
Yeah, he's just going to like pout about it and not release it.
Yeah, he's like, nobody gets it now.
Ma, 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 ma.
I'll pay the rest of the money out of my own pocket.
Which he could probably do.
Yeah.
Mulan released digitally.
It did.
For $30 extra. Yeah, me either.
Seeing as it's going to come out in December.
Right. But Disney said that they're pleased with the response. It's pretty vague, but I guess it's
that means
positive.
They're going to keep doing it.
They're not going to release numbers of how many people bought it. I can guarantee it.
We're pleased with our millions of dollars.
Yep. The Dune trailer finally dropped, and people seem pretty excited about it.
It looks good.
I'm known for not watching trailers at this point, so I hope it's good. I saw something that made me want to watch this trailer though, and that was Hans Zimmer, I believe, or whoever it is that was scoring the trailer. Was working with the London Symphony Orchestra on a remix of a Pink Floyd song.
Oh, okay.
In the trailer,
I didn't notice.
So I kind of want to hear that. That sounds amazing.
Listen to just turn it on, close your eyes, and listen to the trailer, and all the words with the music in the background.
Yeah, that'll do it. Tatiana Maslany, cast as Jennifer Walters / She-Hulk in the upcoming Marvel series. I'm pretty excited about that casting. I think she's fantastic in both the things that I've seen her in. Anywho,
there's a rumor for a long time that it was going to be Allison Brie.
Mm-hmm.
because apparently one of the Disney execs that was, part of the casting process for it said we should get someone like Alison Brie,
Oh, okay.
but not Alison. Like, we should get someone like her.
Alison Brie's just sitting there.
but
I'm
not
someone
her.
like me.
Yeah, she did. She went on Twitter and she was like, I like everybody's like saying that this is happening, but it's not. But I am Alison Brie, so if you need an Alison Brie type person, I'm here.
That's great. And then Jonathan Majors from Lovecraft Country is cast in the new upcoming Ant-Man 3 movie, rumored to be a villain. I don't think they've confirmed the character he's cast for yet.
I don't know. I haven't really read a whole lot about Ant-Man 3, except for what's her name getting a smaller part because she said some stuff about COVID or whatever. Like whenever COVID happened, she was like, COVID's not a big deal. Everybody just keep doing whatever you're doing. It's just the flu. Like she made like some sort of comment like that, and then a bunch of people got upset. So Disney said they would, or Marvel said they would cut her role in the next movie.
Oh, okay.
Not cut it completely, but cut it down.
All right. Who? There's a few she's in that movie.
The Wasp.
Oh, okay. Evangelina Lilly.
Yeah, a little. I don't know if it was just over Discord, but it sounded like you went Evangelina Lilly.
Oh no, it did come out kind of funky, but I don't know. Maybe I put in too many lulz.
Yeah. Little.
Evangeline Lilly. It's because sometimes I mispronounce her name, Evangelina Jolie.
Yeah, which is correct.
Which is clearly correct.
She's the new Tomb Raider.
Right. I don't know why that was a delayed funny, but it was. All right, let's get into today's topic. Today, like I said earlier, we were talking about Bill and Ted 3, Bill and Ted Face the Music, whatever you want to call it. It is basically Bill and Ted must write a song to unite humanity before time and space are destroyed.
Oh, I have a better synopsis. I wrote it down.
Oh, okay. What is it? Andrew?
Bill and Ted haven't made the song that unites the world, and the timelines are starting to mix up and collide. They are tasked with writing the song in one day, and Bill and Ted now are trying to go into the future to steal the song from themselves.
Well, you are now in charge of writing all synopses.
Oh no, more work.
Eat it. Release info. Released August 20th, last month. We've done a movie as recently as last month. It's fucking nice. August 28th, 2020.
This is a new movie. Guys, this is a new movie.
It's a brand new movie.
It's not an old Bill and Ted movie. It's a new one.
Yeah. It's a lost movie from 2001.
Yeah, they just re-released. They just picked it up.
It's remastered and upscaled into 20-year 1080p.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, directed by Dean Pariseau, writers Chris Matheson, Ed Solomon, who wrote the original Bill and Ted movies, and are huge parts of the creative team, basically, along with Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, who play Bill and Ted. Well, Alex Winter plays Bill S. Preston, Esquire, and Keanu Reeves plays Ted Theodore Logan. Movie also stars Kristen Shaw as Kelly, Rufus's daughter, who I learned Kelly is a tribute to Kelly Carlin, George Carlin's real life daughter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
that's sweet.
It is nice, right?
That is nice.
That is nice, Andrew. Samara Weaving as Theodora Preston.
Yep.
Bridget Ludi Payne as Wilhelmina Billy Logan.
Yep.
And supporting roles, William Sadler as Death, and seemingly everybody's favorite character, Anthony Carrigan plays seemingly everybody's favorite character, Dennis Caleb McCoy.
Right. Their wives are also in this movie.
Their wives are also in this movie, played by Jayma Hayes, and I don't know the other lady's name off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
I'll find it for you.
I know Jayma from Glee and Heroes.
Glee. Yeah, this is now Andrew just Google stuff. The show.
Please do.
Oh God. Yeah. Jamie Mays and Irene Hayes.
There you go.
And Kid Cudi's in this movie.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
You don't know who Kid Cudi is?
Look, it's in my notes. Wait, hold on, let me scroll down here into my spoiler notes real quick.
Don't spoil things.
Kid Cudi's in. You spoiled that. You did that.
That's not a spoiler that Kid Cudi's in the movie. He's in like the first 5 minutes.
No, it's not in my notes. Yeah, no, I didn't know who Kid Cudi was. And it's probably, I do remember when you talk about it, it's probably just me not being into current hip hop, right? Like, I can't say how famous this dude is or isn't. I've never heard of him personally.
Maybe he does. I don't know. I think he was more popular in like the late 2000s. He's still like relevant, I guess, because he still does stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, we're not going to get into Kid Cudi. He's a footnote in this movie, but he is there. I did want to say that this movie is almost 30 years old, or not 30 years old. This movie is almost 30 years after Bogus Journey, which was the last one.
Right. So, I mean, the movie has had
which is nuts.
A very long development cycle, right? Around 2005, during a red carpet event, a reporter asked Keanu about if they were ever going to do a Bill and Ted 3, because he gets asked that like once a year. And that time he said, maybe. And he said he wouldn't mind doing it if they could come up with a story and everybody wanted to do it, he'd be into it. And so then they started talking about it and started conceptualizing what the film was actually going to be about in 2008. And then they spent the next several years shopping it around to studios. Nobody wanted to buy it. Everybody's like, who in the world would want a new Bill and Ted movie? And then it's 6 years later, 2014, the four of them, Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, Chris, and Ed, started appealing to the fans, just putting the word out there on social media and stuff like, hey, if you guys want a Bill and Ted 3, retweet us or whatever. And also around that same time is when John Wick came out, which, has given a Keanu resurgence. I don't think we can deny at this point that after John Wick, or before John Wick, Keanu Reeves was just kind of a person who had acted before and was in enjoyable things, and sort of a cult favorite.
He did a lot of weird B, low grade. I wouldn't say they were necessarily B movies, but they were definitely low grade A suspense or horror movies. As he kind of figured out what he was doing after The Matrix. Right. And,
so he wasn't in high demand anymore, by any stretch of the imagination. And then John Wick happened. And, now there's a Matrix 4 happening, so it's Keanu Reeves has taken off again, which is great. I love the guy. He's, from everything that I have read about him and seen, he is the nicest person with the most personal tragedy.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the story,
and just the nicest person for being in Hollywood.
Yeah. He just seems like a genuine and nice person who will take time to really do, take time for his fans, is kind of your normal measurement, but he seems to go out of his way to just kind of interact with people because he enjoys doing that.
Yeah. And he seems very aware of himself and others around him.
Yeah. And he's very
good.
Yeah.
I do want to say real quick, I kind of can't wait for the dumpster fire that's going to be The Matrix 4. There's no way that movie's going to be good, man. There's no way.
I'm interested to see it. I can't imagine that it's going to be good.
The critical reviews of this have gotten worse since the movie released. When the movie released, they were really good reviews.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I hadn't really looked into that. Looking at the reviews today, it looked pretty good. But after John Wick took off, they started seriously pushing studios, and studios started like saying like, hey, maybe we'll do this. So then in 2018 they started the 4 years later, studio said, sure, go ahead, make your movie. And here we are. It's out.
Yep.
2020, 15 years after somebody asked Keanu if he wanted to do it.
We did it, guys. We did it.
We made it here. It's currently sitting at 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. Speaking of those critical responses, you said it was up around what?
I think it was like in the 90s when it first came out. So it's definitely dropped. I mean, it's still not terrible.
Right. 75% audience score. Metacritic 66.
Yeah, Metacritic seems a little bit harsh.
Yeah. Well, I'll say I know that like Kristen, my girlfriend, is. I told her, or she's like, yeah, I noticed you watched Bill and Ted 3 again. Why? I was like, well, first off, it's a good movie. And she goes, I don't know about that. It was a movie. It was like Bill and Ted 1 and 2.
That's correct. It was like Bill and Ted 1 and 2, but that just means she didn't like the first two either.
Right.
Go ahead. I was just saying I have a weird relationship with Bill and Ted because I never watched it as a kid, and I didn't watch it in high school. I didn't watch it until I was like in college.
Uh-huh.
And even watching it in college, I was like, yeah, these are goofy, fun, dumb movies. Like, these are great. Like, I didn't have the same love that I think I would, or the same like nostalgia that I would if I'd seen it as a kid, but they were just like fun, good, dumb movies. Like, what do you need, man? What do you need?
I'm old enough to remember watching the original Bill and Ted in the movie theaters multiple times. I was a kid at the time.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't have the nostalgia factor, but I still appreciated the movies when I watched them when I was in college.
Yeah. I don't.
And I still like the remake, or not remake, the third one.
Yeah. I don't think they are necessarily kids' movies per se, but they did get shown a lot in like daycares and stuff that I went to.
Yeah, but they're not like necessarily like. There's some age stuff in them, but
yeah,
I wouldn't say they're like not safe for work or anything for the most part, unless you're just blasting it in your work.
Right. So I guess getting around to our sort of light review. If you like Bill and Ted, you'll like this. It's a fun and sincere movie, and the characters they feel genuinely like good people that are genuinely trying to do the right thing all the time. And it's a heartwarming story to me. I enjoyed the heck out of it. So, that's my review. What about you?
I mean, I would say I think the best part about this movie is it doesn't really feel like a cash grab from the people making it.
Mm-hmm.
So this actually does feel like, the four of them enjoyed Bill and Ted, and they wanted to make it, and they wanted to make something fans liked, and they wanted to make a good movie. And so I would say beyond, besides, which I guess we'll get into after the spoilers, besides Keanu Reeves not really being able to act like Ted anymore, I would say this is a great movie. Go see it. If you like Bill and Ted, you will like this movie. It feels like a Bill and Ted movie full of plot holes and made with goofy writing and goofy characters.
And one goofy backdrop.
And one what?
Like the design of the future city.
Oh yeah.
It's when they first arrived there, every single piece of that set is just copy and paste of another piece of that set.
On the outside?
Yeah, like they've got those columns going all the way up and down the like sort of bridge area.
Hey man, it's cheap.
And then
cheap and easy.
Like the buildings in the background, they've got the one here big and then like two on the side the exact same, just smaller. And it's just, they used repeated assets. And you can tell, and it's it's a money saving thing or whatever, and it's it doesn't detract from the movie per se, but it was one of those things that made me laugh.
I didn't even notice it. I didn't pay too much attention to the background.
Well, this is the second time watching. I didn't notice it the first time.
I don't think I noticed the second time either.
Oh,
I think I was too busy writing notes too, but
well, la-di-da.
I know.
So I guess before we get into spoilers, overall, do you suggest people watch it?
If you like Bill and Ted and want to spend $20 to $25, then yes. Otherwise, wait until I would say it's worth watching if you like Bill and Ted. If you have no idea who Bill and Ted are, go back and watch the first two and decide from there.
You can buy all three for $35.
That's what I did.
That's what I did as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's I would rate it a good family movie, a movie to watch with your sort of maybe not smallest children's, but even then, I don't think there's anything inappropriate.
Either super young children that don't understand anything,
or slightly older, maybe 7-year-olds or some shit. Maybe the 5-year-old's a little too young. Who probably isn't going to care.
Yeah.
But anyway, to me it harkens back to those 80s kids movies like Goonies and E.T., where for some kids it's fine, for other kids it's like there's some parts that are gonna freak you out.
Yeah. Do you say E.T.?
Yeah. Those dudes that came into his house after they figured out there was an alien there are scary as shit.
I just would have never mashed the Goonies and E.T. next to each other.
But they're 80s kids movies. What are you talking about? Whatever. Anyway, so here's where the spoilers start. If you haven't seen this movie and you don't want spoilers, go away.
Yeah.
But come back.
Goodbye.
Come back.
Or don't. It's up to you.
Wow, Andrew. Wow. No.
Well, I'm saying you decide if you want to come back or not.
We don't
You're
need
your
you.
own person. I didn't say that. Well, okay, guy.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell people to be their own person and make their own decisions.
You leave. If you turn us off, just stay away.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into spoilers. And Andrew, feel free to hop around your notes if you don't want, interject them in here, blah blah blah. You don't have to just go down the page here in my notes. But my first thing is the couple counseling scene. I loved that whole scene. From the moment that they were like, okay, wait, when we said couples counseling, what did you think that meant? And they're like, well, we're a couple of couples.
Yeah, we're two couples.
You see why there's a problem with that, don't you? No.
And they're just doing the whole Elizabeth, we love you.
Dude, you're doing it wrong. Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
Bill and I love you and Elizabeth. It's good. Anyway, it makes me laugh every time. I wrote in my notes here. It's very Bill and Ted. Again, they're sincere, but they're also just dumb as a sack of bricks,
Right.
I thought their daughters were great in this movie as characters. They were doing impressions of their dads, I felt, a lot of the time. But it worked in the context of the movie.
That's probably what they were told to do.
Right.
I think Billy, Ted's daughter, did a much better job of emulating Keanu Reeves than Thea did of of being Alex Winter or being Bill.
Yeah.
She kind of just felt like a regular, dude, where Billy was definitely channeling Keanu from the from the original movies.
Yeah.
She had his movements down and his head movements and the way that his body moved and the way that he talked, and then Thea just kind of was I think she probably was doing an okay job, but she was probably just so overshadowed by how well I think Billy was doing a Ted impersonation.
Yeah. Well, and her Bill impression was kind of just a lip snarl.
Right, that was all she would do. It was the curled lip,
Dude, yeah, we're both making curled lips at each other. If you can't hear that,
Yeah, you can see us, right, guys? Everyone that's listening.
It's just 5 minutes of us like in silence making faces at each other.
They know. They know.
They know.
We'll release the video someday.
And kind of like I said before, the characters could just be dumb people, but their sincerity makes it work.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of been a key to the characters, like all the time. They have never been malicious towards anybody. Well, I guess their future selves have been malicious, and their evil selves in the Bogus Journey were malicious.
Yeah, weren't they robots?
Yeah.
Robots. Yeah. I did really like the fights that they were having with their future selves.
Yeah.
Like I wrote down one of the quotes that I really liked, which is, and it's mainly like Ted fighting with future Ted. Like future Bill wasn't really like fighting with Bill, but the Teds were fighting. And I just like in the first scene whenever they're like in the hotel and he turns around and he goes, "Ted, you're a dick." And just, like, runs away. Or you're a dick, Ted. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Ted with Ted was the best. But Buff Bill and Ted are best Bill and Ted in my opinion.
Oh yeah, the huge prison
Yeah.
Bill and Ted. God, I did like the. I think the song at the beginning, like during the wedding, was pretty. It would have been a good song.
Yeah, that was an alright song. I was sad that got interrupted.
The guttural monk chanting.
It's Tuvi and throat singing.
Yeah, and then the theremin.
Yeah,
was playing. Yeah,
love a theremin.
I do. Just like how dumb the movie is that when he's playing the bagpipes, his fingers are just like all over the place. Like he's obviously like everything else. It kind of like, I don't know enough about the theremin. All I know is that you wave your hands in front of a bunch of metal sticks and it makes noise. So that's believable. And I know enough about the trumpet that he wasn't playing it right.
Oh my God, dude, I wrote that down. Like that bugged the shit out of me.
Yeah, but the bagpipes, he's like sitting there like just like twiddling his fingers, and I'm like, you're not playing the bagpipe. And there's nobody that believes you. And every time Alex Winter's playing something, he's like, you think like it looks like he's doing it. Even when he's doing like the chanting, like you see like his tongue like hitting his cheeks, like he's trying to make the noises.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, some of their instrumentation was or I suppose miming was spot on, and some of it wasn't as great. And for me, being a former trumpet player, just watching these sounds come out of a trumpet that aren't physically possible with what's going on with the hands is just like, no. Please stop.
So I did want to say, like at the beginning, throughout this entire movie, Ted kind of feels less original Ted-like, and he feels like when he talks, like he talks or he speaks like kind of strained, and he doesn't say things the same way he does before. Like Bill says things pretty much as I remember them.
Mm-hmm.
While Ted is, when he's like, "And party on, dudes," like everything's kind of like spaced out, like weird, and like it feels kind of forced, but you can tell that he wants to be there. Like his acting doesn't feel forced, but some of the things that he's saying, like it feels like he doesn't remember how to be Ted.
Right. And,
and they kind of,
it may be,
they kind of try to,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, they kind of like sort of feel like they try to explain it in like the beginning of the movie, because he's not wearing like the same kind of like clothes that, that they wore, like the t-shirts and flannels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's got a suit on, and he even like folds his suit properly when he goes, like when they're in the garage and is talking about selling his guitar and giving it up, and they kind of like allude to a story that might have been there where that's why he doesn't sound like himself, but they never do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think for me, he was close enough to the Ted that I remember that it didn't bother me, but I wonder how much of it is, kind of like you had mentioned before we started the show, just how much life has taken out of him.
Yeah.
or taking him away from where it was a natural character for him to play.
Right, and we're talking about like real life, like the stuff. If nobody knows that much about Keanu Reeves, kind of look into it if you're interested. But he's had some like not fun, not fair life events in real life that have happened to him. So I can imagine that the fun-loving dude bro is kind of hard to play after, and he's, as we've said, like every account of him in real life, he's a nice guy, and so he's come out of it on the other end fine, at least on the surface. But he definitely doesn't feel like the same dude bro, like party on dude kind of guy.
Yeah.
Surfer dude guy.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of it is that and how much of it is him trying to get back in the whatever character of
Groove.
A character that wasn't particularly amazingly acted. It seemed more like his natural self than it was him playing a character back then. And so
Right. And I mean, for the most part, in the past couple, his past roles have all been very serious, actiony, murder people roles.
right.
So it could also be that, over the last, 15 years, he's obviously going to be rusty. He hasn't played a fun-loving musician rocker dude in a long time.
Yeah, we need more Keanu comedies.
I do also say that, but also like Alex Winter hasn't done anything since, like, he did one other movie after Bill and Ted, and then he I think he started going in like behind the scenes,
Yeah.
like directing, producing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he just like comes back into it like he never left, which I guess he hasn't had any other major roles to take him out of it.
Yeah, that's a point. And I'm sure
There's also a part of me that likes to imagine Alex Winter is just like that all the time.
I'm sure some of it is also, being a director and producer, he's used to analyzing things and being able to give direction and potentially, take direction and study for the part in a different way.
Right. But I do like to imagine, like, he's on set directing a movie and he's just like, cut! Most excellent takes, my man. That's
fabulous.
That's a dream.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Like he hangs
Being
out
at a
with
film
Keanu
is
on
most
set.
fortuitous. Yeah, so I mean that was kind of like weird. And you just kind of get over it. But it does feel like Keanu's kind of strained in some of the movie.
Yeah, I can see that. He definitely seems more world worn. I mean, like you said at the in the garage, he's like, you know what, maybe we're done doing this, and so maybe he's just at a point in his character's life where he's just, I'm done.
What's the point?
Yeah,
he's had a couple crises.
Yeah, it didn't seem as stilted when he said "party on, dudes" at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Not as much as in the beginning, or maybe that was part of like his arc, but they didn't really explain it that well.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's just like stuff like that. It's really kind of just in the beginning, or when he's like, like, Bill, my friend, and then he's just, it's all kind of like spaced weird.
Oldest Ted was all right. It was funny when they left their oldest selves, like in the hospital room, and they're dying or whatever.
They've got like the flash drive or whatever.
Yeah, old Bill makes like an old man noise, and it was really just him saying "ah," right? But but when he said it in his old man voice, it just came out "oh," like oh no, that's just a natural sound that old people make. Oh crap.
Yep.
I'm gonna do that one day on accident and just feel like ancient.
Yeah.
What else you got, man?
I got a couple tidbits here. I felt like, so to major spoil things, we're just gonna skip to the end. It turns out that the characters who were foretold to, the Preston and Logan, were their daughters. They're the ones that actually create the song and get everything together, and they're a part of it. They're on stage. They're playing guitar with them after they get everyone in the world an instrument, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like how they Deus Ex Machina at the end. Which also the line, sometimes it doesn't make sense until the end of the story, which is a line they said a lot of times, felt like them just going like, this script technically doesn't make sense, but here's this line that fixes it. Pew, we did it.
Yeah, I can see that. My sort of, I don't know, when they said, when Kristen Shaw read the prophecy again or whatever, recited the prophecy again, that Theodore and Logan, blah, 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 I was like, oh, it's going to be their daughters.
Right.
So,
but I mean,
the
other stuff, like everybody has to have an instrument, and they're like, we'll just split ourselves over a bunch of different timelines and get everyone on the different timelines and times an instrument all instantly at the same time, and then we all play this one note.
Well, yeah, because the phone booth is a quantum tunnel device.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't understand why you don't think it makes sense.
Okay.
If it's working on a quantum level, they're infinite Bill and Ted's.
I did like that Kid Cudi was the one that was like, oh yeah, if you have like infinite universes, and he's like talking about all the theories, the theoretical physics. I feel like the daughters, so like you got the A story, which is Bill and Ted trying to go into the future to steal the music from themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You have a B story, which is their daughters trying to help their dads by going into time and getting the best musicians they can think of to be in their band.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Jimi Hendrix, Louis Armstrong, Mozart, and then a flute woman player.
Yeah.
Woman player. A woman flute player, not a flute woman player. From China. I don't remember her name, and I did not look it up. And then they have like a prehistoric like cave woman drummer.
Right.
That's supposed to be like the best trumpet player for some reason in their rock band, with a drummer and a pianist and a flute player.
Okay, hold on. Louis Armstrong is an icon, all right? Like a
I'm
jazz
not saying he's
icon.
not.
And
right.
Whatever. I just don't whatever.
I also don't know why they chose like young Louis Armstrong instead of like older Louis Armstrong, who would have been more recognizable.
I would assume that's why they said that in the movie.
Did they say that?
Yeah, because they brought young Louis Armstrong up to Jimi Hendrix's room. He's like, whatever, dude. Louis Armstrong's like a 60-year-old man. She's like, I told you we should have gotten old Louis. She's like, this was your idea.
Ah, okay. All right. I might have missed that. But yeah, they got Jimi Hendrix, Louis Armstrong. I did really like the guitar piano battle between Jimi Hendrix and Mozart.
Not a sentence I expected to say this year. I'm a little sad that Beethoven didn't make a reappearance.
Yeah.
Like if they're like, hey, Beethoven, just because they've met.
I wonder if they didn't like, I don't even know who played Beethoven in the other movies. If they were just like, well, we'd want to get the original person and we can't because maybe they're dead or something.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know who it was. So if they're alive, I'm sorry you got stinted on being in the next Bill and Ted movie as Beethoven. Yeah, I think like their story, I feel like could have been more, like I feel like it should have been something more of like Bill and Ted passing it all down to their kids by going on the journey with their kids, instead of just being like a side story that they end up in later. That they all kind of come together in.
It kind of proved to me that Billy and Thea could carry their own movie if they had to.
I don't know. I don't know if they could, but like they could. I don't know. They could carry a movie. I just don't know if it would be as good,
right?
If it didn't have Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves in it. And then the C story is the story with their wives, which is never really explained or gone into depth about beyond like, old you are coming to pick you up so that you can see that there's not a universe that you love or that it works out with us in. Okay. And then they get on the thing and you see them, they get in the phone booth and you see them every once in a while throughout the movie, but they just kind of, you catch glimpses of them. And then at the end of the movie, they show up and they're like, we realize that this is the best timeline that we love you in. And it kind of just feels like it was supposed to be like the storyline that shows that Bill and Ted don't save the day with their wives, but their wives still love them and come back, which sort of happens, but I feel like it was supposed to be something deeper and it just got cut, but they left it in for some reason.
Maybe, I mean, it may just have been a way to get them from the point of they were having relationship troubles and things were getting stale to a point where
sometimes it doesn't make sense until the end of the story where everything's magically fixed.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. It didn't bother me.
I still really, I'm poking holes in a movie that is full of plot holes, probably on purpose, and it's just meant to be a fun, goofy, 80s, 90s movie, which we don't really have anymore. We don't really have like dumb, goofy movies anymore because everything's super serious all the time, and even the comedies that we have are like more dramedy than they are comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to remember the last comedy that I saw like in theaters.
That's all right. It's been 6 or 8 months since I've been in a theater. So
yeah, I would say Billy and Thea's story feels more akin to like The Bogus Journey, or just like them kind of going around. Besides the robots, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were killed by a robot.
I don't know. That is true. And I guess we'll talk about the robot.
Oh, yes.
Because neither of us wrote notes about him.
No.
Now I'm remembering.
The robot is a fantastic character. He basically at one point he accidentally kills Ted's dad. And that's the first sign you get from him that he's not this like mindless robot that's just there like assassin bot.
He's just a goof.
He's just a goofy,
big goofy guy.
Yeah. And so he looks menacing. He's got functions to kill people instantly.
He looks like Frieza from Dragon Ball Z.
But yeah, he goes. But then he kind of looks around when he kills Ted's dad. But then he accidentally kills like an entire group of historical figures, Rufus's daughter and Bill and Ted's daughters. And
he goes, ooh.
He goes, oh no. No.
Have you ever seen the HBO show Barry?
No.
With Bill Hader?
No, I have not seen it.
You should watch it. So it's a comedy show and it has Anthony Carrigan in it.
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony Carrigan's character in that show is also like me and my wife's favorite character in that show as well.
Oh, good.
So I think just really like Anthony Carrigan.
The only thing I've seen him in is Gotham.
Yeah, my wife just finished watching that, and I saw a couple scenes with him as Zaz.
Yeah.
He just kind of seemed like Anthony Carrigan, but his character in I would highly suggest for you to watch Barry or anybody else that's listening to watch Barry if you have HBO.
All right.
It is a phenomenal show, especially if you like Bill Hader.
We'll check that out. But yeah, so after anyway, he becomes more and more humanized to the point where you're kind of rooting for him, and like when he kills himself, he kills Bill and Ted at the same time, and he's like he says I have a name.
Yeah.
And his name,
he keeps saying his name over and over and over again too, like
yeah. My name is Dennis McCoy. I'm Dennis Caleb McCoy, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I also like when they get to hell, the daughters call them dads.
Yeah.
Like they both say dads instead of dad.
Yeah. That's a
so
nice touch. They did it at the concert too, when they showed up after handing out
like they're
instruments.
solidifying that Bill and Ted are basically the same person.
Yeah.
Like Like if they came up with a fourth movie that was super serious and it was just Bill and Ted were one person with like, dissociative identity disorder,
Mm-hmm.
and he just has two personalities, like I'd buy into it. Like if either Keanu Reeves or Alex Winter couldn't do another movie, then the other one just like takes over. Becomes Fight Club, Bill and Ted Fight Club.
Bill and Ted Fight Club. It's
I don't know.
Bill and
feel
Ted
like
50.
I did want to make a couple other mentions. I did like Death's reappearance in this. The jokes around it, I think I liked more than them kind of like trying to bring him back into it. And then I don't know. I feel like the movie was satisfying in the end. Some of it didn't make sense, but it's a Bill and Ted movie, and I'm very glad that it was an hour and a half.
All right. That's fair.
I don't
Is that your
I don't
final
really think-
thoughts? You got any other final thoughts?
I would say it's a good Bill and Ted movie. If you like Bill and Ted, you're gonna like this movie. I couldn't have expected anything better from it, and it could have definitely been a lot worse.
I think I'm right there with you. I think it's absolutely a great movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It might not be your specific cup of tea, but it definitely hits the right notes for the Bill and Ted series. It's nice, it's sweet, it's heartfelt, and I think it's a great addition to the series. And if it ends up being the final movie in the series, great.
And I would say like the stuff that I said about it, where I feel like it sounded like I might have been coming off a little bit hard on the movie, like, is just me being critical of it. There's no like, it's just a fun, goofy movie that you don't need to sit there and analyze it. I only analyzed it because we do a show on it.
That's fair. Where to see it? You can purchase it, or can you rent it at this point? But it's like the same price to purchase and rent, right?
You can rent it for $20, or you can purchase it for $25.
Or you can purchase all three for $35. Is it, or $30?
$35, or you can see it in select theaters. Still, I believe.
Yeah, we don't recommend that last option.
Unless it's like I would go to a drive-in where I'm like in my car.
Oh, there you go. Or in one of those places where you rent your entire theater.
Yeah,
if you go with
sure.
like people that live in your house.
$200, what was it, like $300 or something?
Yeah, if you got $300 to spare and you want to go see a movie with your kids,
by yourself,
don't
eat
do
$300 worth of food. Do it.
Gross.
Hey man, that's leftovers for like a week or a year.
Anyway, we'll be back next time. On that note, we'll be back next time to watch or talk about Devil All the Time, new movie starring Tom Holland and Bill Skarsgård. Dude, every time I say Skarsgård, I always think we're guards. Skarsgård.
Also use the devil all the time, and I just thought of party all the time.
I would like to
devil all the time, devil all the time. Yeah, that's what I thought of.
I break out into that song all the time. Anyway,
all the time song.
We will be back later, and remember, be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.